As for being half-witted, well, what can I say? Except that I have survived to middle age with half my wits, while thousands have died with all of theirs intact. Evidently, quality of wits is more important than quantity.
His name is Derek Jacobi, and he's a classic English actor, a member of the Old Vic Company. And while I, Claudius, is in reruns in 36 countries, he and the Old Vic have taken a different show on the road. Some show, some road. The play is Hamlet, and the tour will go from Scandinavia to Australia, to Japan, to China, of all places, where huge audiences will hear Shakespeare's words in little earphones and simultaneous translation. If you're going to start a tour like that, you may as well begin at the beginning, and that's what the Old Vic has done. The setting for this Hamlet is Elsinore, the old castle in Denmark where Shakespeare placed his tragedy. Under the ancient battlements where Hamlet brooded, in the very wind and weather where the tragedy was played out, that is where the Old Vic has chosen to play it out again. Let the critics criticize this set. It must be a heady experience for Derek Jacobi and for Jane Nymark, his Ophelia, to play in this place.
It's special in the sense that it's taking Hamlet home, really. It's out of doors, it's in the courtyard of the castle that is associated most closely with the play. But all that means, it means, for the last week, it means wind, gales, rain, every possible obstacle to the actors. So in a way, we've lost a bit of the play, we've gained a bit of pageantry. It's a bit soliloquy at the moment. It's exciting, too. I mean,
It's marvellous looking up from the stage to actually see the castle around you.
Yes, yes.
You can see it as you look up, and of course the audience can too. The actual bricks, real bricks, not painted stage bricks, but I mean the stone of the castle that's been there for centuries.
But then you're brought down to earth when your gaze travels down and you see the audience all in plastic bags.
The audience
looking like boiler chicken.
They're issued with plastic bags when they come in.
Yeah.
And we tell them before the show starts to please put their plastic bags on at the beginning in case it rains during the show. Because when they put their plastic bags on, all 2,000 of them, it's a noise is like the Red Sea parting. I mean, it's extraordinary. Yes, 2,000 people putting on plastic bags. It's one of those things you'd never guess from a tape recording.
No, and then when the rain comes, you see, it hits the plastic bag and the noise is doubled.
It is not something rotten in the state of Denmark, but it is surely something radical. Derek Jacobi and Jane Nymark have chosen to play the famous solo scene as a duet.
The to be or not to be soliloquy is usually regarded as the most famous single speech in world literature. And it's usually, I think, always done as a soliloquy. The whole object is for her to meet Hamlet. And he comes on and he meets her. And he is surprised that she doesn't run away. Because for the last few weeks, every time he's seen her down the end of a corridor, she's scooted away. She's sent back all his letters. She's been avoiding him, ignoring him.
To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing, end them, to die, to sleep, no more, and by a sleep to say, we end the heartache, and the 1,000 natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation divinely to be wished, to die, to sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub, for in that sleep of death, what dreams may come. When we have shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life.
course, the purists will say this is ridiculous, that what we're talking about now is utter nonsense, and that, of course, the speech is a soliloquy and should always be done as a soliloquy. And we're just being eccentric doing it any other way. But the marvellous thing about Shakespeare is once the scholars and the purists have had their say and have done their worst with him, he was essentially a man of the theatre, writing for the theatre, and I'm sure he would have approved of any actor or actress who made a scene live for an audience by whatever means.
Thus conscience doth make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sickly dour with the pale cast of thought. And enterprises of great pith and moment with this regard.
I'm sure he'd approve. He might not say it's absolutely right, but he'd say, well done, you've had a go. Yes.
Throughout the speech, the to be or not to be speech, as far as I'm concerned, being there, it's just him and me. And then suddenly he turns to go away, and I realise that I've got to do this thing, because the king and my father, both terribly powerful figures in my life, have told me to do it. So my only intention is to keep him there. And I say the most stupid thing I could say at all, really.
Good my lord, how doth your honour for this many a day?
It does get us into the nunnery scene much smoother, yes. And the irony is that it is a speech about suicide. And she's the one that actually commits suicide, not Hamlet, eventually. So who's to know whether the speech doesn't plant a seed in her mind?
I did love you once.
Indeed, my lord, you made me believe so.
You should not have believed me. For virtue cannot so inoculate our old stock, but we shall relish of it. I loved you not.
I was the more deceived.
Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent honest, but yet I could accuse me of such things that it were better my mother had not borne me. I am very proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offences at my beck than I have thoughts to put them in, imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. What should such fellows as I do? Crawling between earth and heaven? We are arrant knaves all, believe none of us. Go thy ways to a nunnery. Where's your father?
The intention of the entire company is to involve and interest a modern audience while we are speaking, albeit well-known lines, but lines written in an English and a poetic English that does not fall happily on a modern ear.
I'll give thee this plague for thy diary. Be thou as chaste as ice, as pure as snow, thou shalt not escape calumny. Get thee to a nunnery, go, farewell. Oh,
To be as naturalistic
marry a fool.
as possible, at the same time never forgetting the poetry of the piece and the rhythm of Shakespeare's lines.
Oh, heavenly powers, restore.
I have heard your paintings do well enough. God has given you one face, you make yourselves another. You jig, you amble, you lisp. You nickname God's creatures, you make your wantonness your ignorance go to no farther. It hath made me mad. I say we will have no more marriage. Those that are married already, all but one shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To another.